Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and in this video I'll be telling you what all you need to fill out exactly in your IMM1294 form, which is again a mandatory form which you need to fill and upload while you're applying for Canadian visa. Application for study permit made outside of Canada. So if you're someone who's going there as a student for studying and you need a study permit, you need to fill out this form. And let's just straight get in the video. In this video, I'll be telling you what you need to fill out in this particular application, that is IMM1294 Application for Study Permit made outside of Canada. It's possible that it may not open up in your browser because it is not supported by your browser. So you need not do anything. You can just simply download this form. It's possible that even after downloading it may not open up and it would show something like this. This basically means that you need to go and download the right Acrobat Reader DC in order for this file to open up, and the viewer that you have is not supporting this type of form. So you can go to this link and you can directly download for Windows or Mac or Linux, whichever OS you're working on. Once you have done that, you can open up this form and this looks something like this. And right now it is empty. It's a long form, and once you are done, you can go ahead and validate, and that would generate a barcode for you. I'll show you at the end of the process. So what I have done is I have filled out and kept a form, and basically this is the form that I have submitted for my visa process. You can see that the status of validated says no, which means that I haven't yet clicked the validate button. So make sure that once you have filled out all the information, you just hit validate button, and this would change to yes at the end of the process. Let's get started. So the first field is UCI, which is Unique Client Identifier. Right now it would be empty because this is the first time I'm filing for a Canadian visa, so I don't have this issued. If you have already filed it before, you must have this ID, and in that case you need to fill this out. Otherwise you can simply leave this empty. And I want my service to be in English, so I select that. So here you enter your family name, which is your surname as per the travel document, and given name would be your first name. So I have filled out my first name here. And next question is, have you ever used any other name in cases when you are married and before marriage you had a different surname and after marriage you had a different surname? So basically you need to enter that as well here. Since I don't have any other name apart from the name that I have mentioned above, I enter this as no. Then my gender is female. Then I enter my date of birth over here and my place of birth. So this is as per again what I filled out in my passport. Here you enter your country and then citizenship that you're holding. So I'm an Indian. I enter my citizenship as India. After that, they ask you for current country or territory of residence. So here you need to enter out in which country you are currently located. So right now I'm in India and my status is that of a citizen. So I enter that over here. And as soon as you start filling out, you would see that some fields gray out. So since I'm a citizen, it does not ask me from when to when. If you are currently residing in some other country and you're not a resident, you're not a citizen, it may ask you from which period to which period you were located in that country. So accordingly, you'll have to fill out. Next question is previous countries or territories of residence. So you need to enter all the countries wherever you were in your past 5 years. So you have some description over here. During the last 5 years, have you lived in any country or territory other than your country of citizenship or your current country or territory of residence for more than 6 months? So if you have stayed for more than 6 months, then only you need to enter. If you just went for a visit or travel, then you may not need to enter. And since I haven't, I just entered no over here. Next is country or territory we're applying. Same as current country or territory of residence. Yes, right now I'm in India, so I just hit yes. After that is your current marital status. So this goes single. And if you are married or in a common law relationship, provide the date on which you were married or entered into the common law relationship. So all these details you need to fill. If you are married, have you previously been married or in a common law relationship? I enter no. I don't need to fill out these fields then. Everything that's grayed out, you do not need to fill. Then comes language. Native language, mother tongue, that's Hindi for me, so I enter Hindi. You can fill your own language. Are you able to communicate in English or French? I'm able to communicate in English, so I enter English over here. Okay, have you taken a test from a designated testing agency to assess your proficiency in English or French? Yes, they're talking about IELTS over here, so I gave my IELTS and I have taken the test, so I enter yes. Next, you need to enter your passport details. Once you enter this form, there would be fields marked in red. That would basically mean that you need to, these fields are mandatory and you have to fill this out. There are fields above which were mandatory, and since I've already filled those out, you don't see those fields right now highlighted in red. But yeah, that's it. So passport number, you enter your passport number. This is just for an example that I'm entering. Then country or territory of issue, that is India in my case, so you enter IND. And issue date, expiry date, so all these details are mentioned on your passport. You can, on the first page of your passport, so you can just use that. For this trip, will you use a passport issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Taiwan that includes your personal identification number? So these fields, again, as soon as I enter India and I fill out other details, they go gray. That means I do not need to enter and I cannot enter. Next comes your national identity document. Do you have a national identity document? I enter yes. And then you have to enter your document number. So here what I have done, I have filled out my Aadhaar card number. So this again for an example that I've entered over here. You enter your Aadhaar card number, and what I have done is, so many students have entered their passport number here. So again, I felt like passport number is your travel document and you're already submitting that. So what I have done is, apart from the passport that I'm submitting, I mentioned my Aadhaar card number, and in the client information form, which is another form that you need to document that you need to submit, over there I have attached the photos of my Aadhaar card. So you can do the same. You can enter your Aadhaar card document number over here. Then country of issue would be India, and issue date and expiry date, since you don't have this mentioned on your Aadhaar card, you can leave this as empty. And these fields are actually, both of these fields are not mandatory, so you can skip filling this out. Next comes USPR card. So basically it's asking, are you a green card holder? Then I enter no over here. If you are, then you need to enter yes, and then you have to fill out your document number, expiry date. Next comes your contact information. So you enter your mailing address over here. So this is the address where you stay. I have entered my permanent address over here. And residential address. So is this the same as mailing address? I enter yes. Okay. Then you do not need to separately fill this out again. After that comes telephone number, whether this number belongs to Canada, US, or any other country. So you have to enter other, and in the type you enter as cellular. After that, country code would be 91, and then you enter your digits. So these are like, again, this is not my personal phone number, I'm just filling out a random number, but you have to enter your phone number over here. After that, alternate phone number, here you can enter, what I have done is I have entered my father's mobile number over here. So again, this belongs to other country, which is India in my case, and this goes cellular, and code would be 91 for India. And this is, let's say, another phone number. that you enter over here. Next comes fax number. So I have left this as empty. Then email address. So make sure that you fill out the email address, because if you read over here, it says if submitting your application by mail, all correspondence will go to this address unless you indicate your email address below. Indicating an email address will authorize all correspondence, including file and personal information, to be sent to the email address you specify. Okay, so I want all the communication to be done on my email address. Then you can just go ahead, fill your email address. After that comes details of intended study in Canada. So I'm going to SFU, which is Simon Fraser University, for my master's, and whichever university you are going to, you must have received an offer letter from that particular university. So you need to enter the name of that school over here. My level of study would be, there are many options over here that you can fill out, and it depends on what type of degree you are going to take. From the given list of options, you can select any one. I am going for university's master's degree, so I enter that. If you're going for MS, then comes my field of study would be, so there again a list of programs listed out over here, which asks what study are you going for. So since I'm going for Masters of Science in Professional Computer Science, which is MPCS in my case, I enter Computing IT. Then you need to provide the address of school in Canada. So on the offer letter itself, the address of the university would be given. So province would be BC, which is British Columbia in my case. Next is city, town in which it is located. It is Burnaby in my case, so I enter that. And then the address of the university. So all this information you can find on your offer letter. Next comes designated learning institution code. So this is a code that has been assigned to the universities over there, and this code is unique to every university. So in your offer letter itself, they would have stated that you can use this code for your visa purpose, and there's a DLI number. So that is the number that you need to enter over here. And here you need to enter your student ID. So this is again a random number that I'm filling out over here, but I've filled out my student ID of SFU over here. Then duration of expected study, this is again given on my offer letter. You can fill out your own. Next comes the cost of studies will be. So all these figures that you're entering over here is in Canadian dollar by default. So the tuition fee that you would incur would be mentioned on your offer letter. Or if I go to, what I've done is, in my case, if I go to the website of SFU and Masters of Science and Professional Computer Science program, this is the program that I'm going to. And let me just go to the programs page. And if I scroll down over here, you can see that they have mentioned the tuition fees for international student. So this is for the domestic student, this is for the international student. So this is the cost that would be there in my case. So I have just copied the same value and I have entered over here. After that, you can enter what would be the approx room and board and other expenses, but since these fields were not mandatory, I have left this as empty. And then they ask for funds available for my stay. So I have filled out 60,000 Canadian dollar over here. So there is a lot of confusion around what figure you need to enter over here exactly. Many students have filled like 10,000 Canadian dollar, which is the GIC amount that they have paid. And what I have done is I have entered 60,000, which is basically 10,000 GIC that I paid. I have deposited 35,000 CAD towards my first year tuition fee. So I've added that as well, which is 45,000 Canadian dollar. Plus I have shown extra 50,000 Canadian dollar that is there for my stay. So a sum up of that would be 60,000. So I have just entered this number. Next comes my expenses in Canada would be paid by. So if you're sponsoring this by yourself, you can enter myself. If someone else is sponsoring this for you, you have to fill other. And in my case, my parents are sponsoring this for me, so I've entered parents. So make sure that whatever information you furnish over here, it aligns with your the statement of purpose that you're writing. If over here you're writing that your parents are sponsoring your program, do not go ahead and write in your visa SOP that I'm funding this by myself. So here I had a lot of confusion again whether I should fill this as myself or parents, because I was working since 3 years and I had some savings with me. But then I talked to a few counselors and took some opinion. They said that since you will not be working over there and you are going for studies, it's advisable that you fill parents. It again depends upon what is your case, and you can fill out accordingly. Next is education. So over here you need to enter details of your post-secondary education or the highest education level that you have had. So I have entered yes, I have done my education, and I enter from which year to which year it was. So as in 2015 to 2019 batch, and I did my BTech in Information Technology. You enter that over here. And I did from Vellore Institute of Technology, India. So you enter your school's name, which is your university's or college name, and you enter the country from where you did it and the city where you did your education from. So that is Vellore in my case. Province state you can actually leave as empty, and this is actually not a dribble also. Next is employment. So if you're currently working or you have worked as a full-time employee somewhere, only then you have to fill this out. Otherwise you do not need to, and you can just skip to the next part. So since I'm currently working, I fill out from which year and month I was working. 2 I leave as empty because I'm currently working there. And what is my occupation, so I enter my designation over here, and which city I am, so I enter that. Next would be country, which is India in my case, and next is employer or the company where you're currently employed, so you have to enter that over here. After that comes background information. So you have to declare a few things over here. Let's see. Within the past 2 years, have you or a family member ever had tuberculosis of the lungs or been in close contact with a person with tuberculosis? I enter no. So they need a few other information, background details in order to process your visa. So you have to declare those things over here. Do you have any physical or mental disorder that would require social or health services other than medication during a stay in Canada? Which is again no in my case. Have you ever remained beyond the validity of your status, attended school without authorization, or worked without authorization in Canada? I'll enter no. Have you been refused a visa or permit, denied entry, or ordered to leave Canada or any other country or territory? I enter no again here. Have you previously applied to enter or remain in Canada? No, since this is the first time I'm applying, so I enter all as no. Have you ever committed, been arrested, or been charged with or convicted of any criminal offense in any country or territory? So I enter no, I haven't been. Did you serve in military, militia, or civil defense unit, or serve in security organization of or police force? Again, no, I haven't, so I enter no over here. Then few final questions. Are you or have you ever been a member or associated with any political party, group, organization which has engaged or advocated violence as a means of achieving political or religious objective, or which has been associated with criminal activity at any time? So I enter again no over here. Have you ever witnessed or participated in the ill treatment of prisoners or civilians, looting or desecration of a religious building? No. So I think in most of our cases that students are filling out, it would be no. In specific cases, if you have witnessed or been in any such situations, only then you need to enter yes. That's it, you're almost done. Now comes the signature part where you provide your consent basically. So read these out properly, and do you consent to be contacted by CIC or any an organization at CIC's request in future? So I have given the consent and I have ticked as yes. Then you enter your name over here. This basically acts as your signature, and you enter the date on which you're signing this document. That's it. After doing all this, hit the validate button, and it says validation completed successfully. Please print the entire application and sign and date the last page. This page contains barcodes that facilitates data entry of your application. If you're applying online, you do not need to sign your application form by hand. You'll be asked to provide an electronic signature once you're ready to transmit your documents to CIC. So you do not need to take a printout or do anything. I just need to click validate and that's it. I can simply go ahead and upload this form. And now if I show you the status, it says validated. The status is yes. And if I scroll down, these are the barcodes that would be generated. That's it. That was all that you need to fill out in this form. Let me know if you have any other doubts, queries. Also, if this video added some value to your search around filing the visa, what all you need to exactly fill out in the form, do not forget to like the video, share it with your friends, family, or anyone who is undergoing this procedure, and especially someone who is doing all of this by themselves and not through any other agent. They may end up finding this really helpful. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.